What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Rich of SmartPhoneNation, and you're seeing some wood grain here, so you know what that means. It's time for a review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Acer Iconia A110 budget tablet. This is a sub $200 tablet, and it packs a hell of a punch, but is it good enough to compete with the Google Nexus 7? That's what we're going to find out right now. Okay, let's take a look around the unit itself. We'll start with the front. This is obviously where the screen is. This is a TFT display. We'll get more into that later. And it comes with a 2-megapixel image sensor right there, or camera. So if you want to use, Skype or anything like that, you'll be able to with this. It's grainy. It's nothing special, but again, for the price range of this tablet, the fact that it's even there is somewhat impressive. We'll take a look at the bottom here. Nothing but a serial number, which I don't want you to see. On the side here, you're going to have your volume rocker. This is your power and standby switch. You hit that, the tablet turns on. Shocking. Up on top here, you have your 3.5mm headphone jack. And another thing which is somewhat surprising for this price point is you have a micro SD card slot. So you can put up to a 32GB micro SD card in there and get external storage. And a lot of times you get the budget tablets that just let you have internal storage. You can't add any extra memory to it, so it limits you to what you could actually download and install from the Google Play Store. Around on this side here, what I'm looking at here is a micro HDMI output. Another thing which is an exception to the rule with the Acer Iconia A110, you usually don't get the HDMI output, so if you want to use this as to watch Hulu on the big flat screen, you can do that in 720p. Over here you're going to have your micro USB, so you just for charging and transferring data to your computer. Nothing special there. All right. On the back, we're going to have our speaker grill right here. Only a mono speaker grill. You're not going to have stereo speakers on here. Another way to cut costs back. But the speaker is actually loud and clear and doesn't distort. You get plenty of volume out of here. So it's good if you want to use this at work when you have some downtime to watch some movies, some YouTube, stuff like that. I was actually pretty impressed with the speaker. And you have a nice plastic back. That's not aluminum or metal. We'll turn on the display here, take a look at that. The display resolution is 1024 by 600, so you're going to have a somewhat low pixel density. The pixel density on this is 170 ppi. That's not really too big of a deal. Again, you're looking at a budget price point, but we'll get more into my likes and dislikes of the display later. Also, too, this is a fairly light tablet. It comes in at almost less than 14 ounces, so it feels good in the hand. It won't tire out from holding it. There's sometimes you hold bigger, heavier tablets. I remember I played with the Asus Transformer Prime, which is a totally different league than this. It's a bigger tablet for a different experience, but you hold it for a while, your hands get kind of tired. Your hands don't get tired with this. And the nice thing about it is if you're buying it for gaming, which as you see I have plenty of games here, it's actually more comfortable to game on, in my personal opinion, than a larger tablet. You could actually hold it almost like a oversized DS in your hands, and it's easier, especially with all the on-screen touch controls with tablet games. It's a little easier to game on this than other larger tablets. Performance-wise, this actually has a Tegra 3 processor in it. If you didn't know, the Tegra 3 has a quad-core 1.2 gigahertz processor in there, and actually has a 5th core that when you're doing basic things on here, when you're just surfing the web where it's in standby, it only goes to that one slower core, the 5th core, to save on battery life. The other nice thing about it too is that the Tegra 3 chipset is very capable of gaming. If you see this THD logo here, these games are actually taking advantage of the Tegra 3 chipset, so you actually get some pretty damn good looking graphics with the Tegra 3 chipset. Now granted, Tegra 3 is being outperformed by it's not the new kid on the block anymore. The fastest chipset out there's the Tegra 4 chipset, which is just around the corner, or may actually be released as of this video. And there's chipsets by Qualcomm which have super fast quad-core processors that outperform the Tegra 3. But this did actually perform very well in Quadrant, which is a synthetic benchmark, and it got a score of 4,299, which is up there. If you actually look on Quadrant, it was right between the Asus Transformer Prime. It was actually outperformed that and was a slight step below the HTC One X. So again, for a sub $200 tablet, not bad. This will output in 720p. I may have said before it does 1080p. It can perform and play 1080p videos, but if you're using the micro HDMI out, it only outputs in 720p. But that's fantastic though. If you have Hulu Plus like I have, you can watch HD video on there. YouTube, the mobile YouTube app that comes with Jelly Bean, which this actually comes with Android 4.1 Jelly Bean, actually has the HD option on there. So if you want to watch HD videos right in YouTube, this tablet will handle that just fine. Let's take a look at how Google Chrome runs. I'm going to tap on that right there. And I was just watching, yes, I know it does not support Flash. You could side install Flash where you could get a, you could download the Flash for Android from the internet and install it on here, but I don't really recommend it. Android is not really designed for Flash, especially anymore. They used to have Flash back a couple years ago. It just didn't work out that well. And there you go. You could pinch to zoom. It's actually a little more responsive than that. I don't know why it's giving me a tough time there, but zoom back out. Interesting. There you go. Okay, just probably just needed to load the page, but as you see, pinch to zoom works very well on this, nice and fluid, nice and smooth. The reason it wasn't working before, I guess it was still loading data onto the page, but once it's loaded, as you see, it's very responsive, and it works very well. As a matter of fact, let's go take a look at how video looks on here. Show you another. Actually, I'll show you another web page. Let's go to. Go back here. Let's go to CNN.com. There we go. Let's see how a full-fledged desktop web page loads up. Now this has Wi-Fi A, B, G, and N in here. So if you have an old school and new school router, it's going to work with that just fine. It doesn't have 5 gigahertz N. It just has 2.4 gigahertz N. Again, another way to shave off a couple bucks in the budget, but to keep it in a budget tablet price range. So if you're expecting it to work with the higher frequency 5 gigahertz routers, that it's not going to do. So, but as you see here, let's do some pinch to zoom. As you see, no problem keeping up with my fingers, just a slight delay, and there's no kind of checkerboarding or choppiness to it. And this is not the mobile page from CNN, and it works great. Let's tap on, I don't know, something that's. Let's go look at some beer. I like beer. And there you go. Again, it loaded up pretty quick. You can do the pinch to zoom once again, and as you see, very responsive. Now, another cool thing I want to show you just with Jelly Bean in general is Google Voice. It's kind of like Siri for Android now, and I'm going to show you what it does. And let's check out the weather. What is the weather right now?
It's 63 degrees and overcast in Wappingers Falls.
That is awesome. Fantastic stuff. And it's not, you're not going to get the humor with it. It's not, I've used Siri. I'm personally not, it's neither here nor there for me. I could live without that feature, but it works pretty well. Let's try one more thing. What will the weather be like on Sunday?
Sunday's forecast for Wappingers Falls is 68 degrees and partly cloudy.
All right, boom, there you go. Nothing special, but it's a cool feature, and I think it works actually pretty well. Let's look at some other things it comes with, too. As you see, man, this Tegra 3 chipset is really snappy. I'm going to show some gameplay and how it performs with games. I'm actually going to capture it via HDMI, so if you're wondering right now why I'm not showing it, it's just, hey, why don't I just actually record it directly and you could really see what the tablet's capable of. This also has GPS built in, too. I forgot to mention that, with full navigation. And that's a pretty cool thing, man. So if you want to take this on the road with you, use it as your Garmin instead of, which is killing Garmin. These tablets from iOS, from Apple, from Android, you know, from all the different manufacturers are killing the remember how big navigation systems were? Ever notice you don't see too many commercials for them anymore? Because of that app right there. I have Pandora on here, other things too. It's the bottom line. This is a very capable tablet. But what's keeping me from being totally in love with it? Two two things, actually. I wanted to say one, but there's two. First thing, this display is mediocre at best. I don't know if you could see it on the... See how bad the viewing angle is? It's much worse in person. It's usable, it's tolerable, I've gotten used to it, but it does take away from the experience. And even though this is a sub $200 tablet, there's no excuse for that poor viewing angle. If you hold it right in front, it looks fine, but even if you tilt it a little bit, it changes the way the picture looks. Now, the other thing too is when you have it in landscape mode, it's not as bad. Like, you barely notice it. It's only here, and I actually checked a couple other Acer Iconia tabs, A110s, to make sure it wasn't just mine doing that, and it wasn't. They all have the same issue. So that was pretty disappointing too, especially when the Google Nexus 7 screen is drop dead gorgeous, and it's the same price range. Now keep in mind, the Google Nexus 7 doesn't give you options to expand the memory. You can't put a micro SD card in there, and on top of it too, it doesn't have the micro HDMI out. But if you're going to be using the screen mostly, maybe this may just knock this totally out as an option for you. On top of it too, the battery life, they say it's about 7 hours, and that's true, but it's true if you're going to use it lightly. Like, you're going to look at a couple YouTube videos, surf, look at the news, then not use a tablet for a couple hours, keep it in standby, go back. If you're a light to medium use user, if you're a heavy user, like there was one night I was at work and I was playing YouTube videos and Hulu shows on Hulu the whole night. It was like 4 hours, maybe 4 hours and like change, maybe 15-20 minutes, like 4 hours and 20 minutes, let's say, just to be fair. So the battery life on this is at best. So those are my two big things, and they're fairly large, fairly big complaints with the Acer Iconia A10. Now, final verdict time with this. Would I recommend this tablet over the Google Nexus 7? It's such a gray area. I have to really call it Acer on the screen. I'm very disappointed with the screen, but I will recommend it for people like me, because I still, even though I saw the screen, there was a Google Nexus 7 right next to it, and there was the Acer Iconia A10. Even though I saw the screen was vastly superior, I believe the screen on the Google Nexus 7 is 1280 by 800. It's a higher resolution than this too. This has two features that I needed: the expandable memory, and because I'm going to be doing game reviews for SmartPhoneNation, I wanted the HDMI output. And if those are big things to you, then I will give a hesitant recommendation to this. If you don't care about hooking this up to your television like I do, if you don't care about the expandable memory because you're just going to be simply using this to surf the web, watch a couple YouTube videos, and that's it, I would, without hesitation at all, tell you to go for the Google Nexus 7. It has a vastly superior screen, much better viewing angles. I can't recommend that tablet enough. I would, if you're just looking to use it as a tablet and nothing more, get the Google Nexus 7 easily. It's a much better tablet if you're solely going to use it just as a tablet and not as like a home entertainment center like I use mine. So keep those two shortcomings in mind. I still like this tablet. If out of 5 stars I have to give it a score, I would give it like a 3.5 out of 5, just because you're getting a whole bunch of awesome features with it, but the mediocre screen with a low resolution and the so-so battery life just knock it down a couple notches for me and keep it from being a top-notch tablet, which it definitely has. If they just fixed those two things, this would have been a must-have for everybody. Anyway, guys, this is Rich from SmartPhoneNation signing off. Make sure you stay tuned. The video isn't done yet. I'm going to record some game footage now so you can see this the Tegra 3 chipset inside this tablet performing. Make sure to subscribe to Tony and I's other partner channels, Classic Elite and Review Tech USA. Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thanks for watching.